The desperate plath corridors of Nexus Station hummed with the usual chaos of a frontier trading post. Marcus Reed pushed through the crowded marketplace, his weathered pilot jacket marking him as just another cargo runner looking for work. The smell of exotic spices mixed with engine fuel created the familiar aroma of life on the galaxy's edge. He was heading toward Docking Bay 12 when small hands grabbed his sleeve. For children huddled in the shadows between storage containers, their pale blue skin and silver hair marking them as Zephyrians. The eldest, a girl who couldn't be more than 14, stepped forward with desperate eyes. "Please, mister," she whispered, "don't leave us." Marcus instinctively reached for the plasma pistol at his hip, then stopped. These weren't threats. They were terrified refugees. "Where are your parents, kid?" "Dead," said one of the twin boys, his voice hollow. "The hunters killed them 3 days ago." The girl introduced herself as Nora. Her brothers Finn and Cole, and little Zara, who clung to Nora's hand with silent tears streaming down her cheeks. They'd been hiding in the station's lower levels, scrounging for food and avoiding security. "Hunters mean bounty," Marcus said grimly. "How much are you worth?" 5 million credits each," Nora replied. "Our father was a Zephyrian noble. The new regime wants us dead to secure their power. 20 million credits." Marcus had never seen that kind of money. For a moment, he calculated what that fortune could buy him. Then he looked at Zara's frightened face and felt something twist in his chest. "Medical bay," he said finally. "You look half-starved." Dr. Elena Vasquez was examining a trader's broken arm when they arrived. She looked up as Marcus entered with the children, her dark eyes immediately assessing their condition. Alina was beautiful in a way that made Marcus forget his usual caution around station. Personnel, malnutrition, and exhaustion, she diagnosed after a quick examination. They need food, rest, and safety. Her gaze met Marcus's. "Bounty hunters." He nodded. Elena's expression hardened. She'd seen too many refugees destroyed by greed and politics. "My quarters have extra bunks," she offered. Temporary solution. As Alina tended to the children, Marcus found himself watching her gentle efficiency. Her hands moved with practiced skill, but her voice carried genuine warmth when she spoke to Zara in broken Zephyrian. "You're taking a big risk," Alina said quietly as she worked. "Wouldn't be the first time," Marcus replied, though something in her presence made him want to be better than he was. "Besides, they're just kids." Alina smiled, and Marcus felt his carefully constructed walls beginning to crack. Outside the medical bay, station security announced incoming ships. The hunt had begun. The chase begins. Proximity alarms screamed across Nexus Station as 3 sleek hunter vessels emerged from hyperspace. Marcus watched through the medical bay's viewport as the predatory ships took positions around the station, blocking all escape routes. "Captain Vex," Elena breathed, recognizing the lead ship's distinctive scarred hull. "He's the worst of them. No mercy, no exceptions." Nora gathered her siblings closer as the station's communication system crackled to life. Vex's cold voice filled the corridors. "Nexus Station, we're conducting a lawful bounty collection. For Zephyrian fugitives are aboard your facility. Cooperation ensures no unnecessary casualties." Marcus's mind raced through possibilities. His cargo ship, the Crimson Dawn, was fast but lightly armed. Against 3 hunter vessels, speed would be their only advantage. "Can you get them to my ship?" he asked Alina. "Maintenance tunnels," she replied, "already moving. I know every passage in this station." They gathered supplies quickly. Alina packed medical equipment while Marcus grabbed his emergency kit and what little ammunition he had. The children moved with surprising discipline, understanding that silence meant survival. The tunnels were cramped and dimly lit, filled with the constant hum of recycling systems. Alina led them through a maze of passages, her hand occasionally brushing Marcus's as she guided them around obstacles. Each touch sent electricity through him, making him acutely aware of her presence even in their desperate flight. "There," she whispered, pointing to a grate that opened near Docking Bay 12 through the metal slats. They could see hunter troops searching the bay. Marcus counted 6 armed figures in combat armor, their weapons scanning methodically. We need a distraction. Elena's eyes met his in the dim tunnel light. I'll create one. Get the children to your ship. No. The word came out more forcefully than Marcus intended. The thought of Elena in danger made his chest tighten. We go together, or not at all? She smiled at his protectiveness, and for a moment the danger faded. Together, then. Elena triggered the bay's fire suppression system, filling the area with foam and alarms. In the chaos, Marcus led them to the Crimson Dawn. The ship was his pride, a modified courier vessel with enhanced engines and hidden weapon mounts. They were strapping. And when the hunters discovered their escape, laser fire sparked against the hull as Marcus initiated launch sequence. Hold tight, he called to Elena, who was securing the children in the passenger cabin. The Crimson Dawn burst from the docking bay like a crimson comet, diving toward the planet's gravity well. Behind them, the hunter ships gave chase, their more powerful vessels gaining ground with every second. Hyperspace in 30 seconds, Marcus announced. His hands flying over the controls, Elena slipped into the co-pilot seat, her presence steadying his nerves. Where are we going? Somewhere safe, he replied, though he wasn't sure such a place existed with Vex hunting them. The stars stretched into lines as they jumped to hyperspace, leaving the hunters behind. In the sudden quiet, Marcus became aware of Elena's hand resting on his arm, her touch warm and reassuring. Safe Haven, discovered Avon's Rest, appeared on their screens like a hidden jewel, its surface a patchwork of green forests and crystal lakes. The planet existed in no official records, discovered by refugees who'd claimed it as their sanctuary. Marcus guided the Crimson Dawn through the defensive satellite network, broadcasting the recognition codes Elena had somehow acquired. How do you know about this place? Marcus asked as they descended toward the main settlement. I helped establish the medical facilities here, Elena replied. Before Nexus Station, I ran a clinic for displaced persons. Some secrets are worth keeping. The settlement was larger than Marcus expected, perhaps 1,000 inhabitants living in harmony with the planet's natural beauty. Prefabricated buildings nestled between ancient trees. While gardens and workshops showed signs of a thriving community, they were greeted by Jonas Webb, the settlement's unofficial leader. He was a man in his 60s with kind eyes and calloused hands that spoke of honest work. Elena, good to see you again. Though I wish circumstances were better. The children were assigned quarters in the community center, while Marcus and Elena found rooms in the residential district. That evening, they walked along the settlement's main path, watching the twin moons rise over the forest canopy. It's beautiful here, Elena said, her voice soft in the gathering twilight. Marcus found himself watching her face in the moonlight rather than the scenery. It is, he agreed, though he wasn't talking about the planet. They found a quiet grove where luminescent flowers provided gentle illumination. The peaceful setting made their flight from the hunters seem like a distant nightmare. Elena settled on a fallen log, and Marcus joined her, hyper-aware of the small distance between them. Why did you help us? Elena asked. You could have turned them in for the bounty. Marcus considered the question, watching fireflies dance among the glowing blooms. Maybe I'm tired of running from what's right, he said. Or maybe I met someone who made me want to be better. Elena's breath caught softly. When she looked at him, her eyes held a warmth that made his heart race. Marcus, double quotes. He reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining naturally. Elena, I know this is complicated, but I can't stop thinking about you. Even with everything that's happening, you're all I see. She leaned closer, her free hand touching his cheek. I've been thinking the same thing. It's crazy, but in the middle of all this danger, I feel safer with you than I have anywhere else. Their lips met in a kiss that was tender and desperate at once. Marcus pulled her closer, feeling the warmth of her body against his as months of loneliness melted away. When they finally parted, Elena rested her forehead against his. What happens now? She whispered. We protect them, Marcus replied. We find a way to end this hunt, and then we see where this takes us. The next morning brought troubling news. Nora approached them with her siblings, their young faces serious. There's something we haven't told you, she said. Our parents hid the location of our people's sacred treasury before they died. It's worth more than the bounty on our heads." Marcus felt temptation stir in his chest. With that kind of wealth, he and Alina could disappear forever. But looking at the children's trusting faces, he knew he'd already made his choice. Betrayal and flight. Marcus woke to the sound of plasma cannons charging. Through his quarters window, he saw 3 hunter ships descending through Haven's Rest atmosphere like metallic vultures. Someone had betrayed their location. He grabbed his weapons and ran toward the community center. Finding Alina already there with the children, the settlement's emergency alarms wailed as residents scattered toward hidden shelters and escape routes they'd hoped never to use. "How did they find us?" Alina asked, her medical bag slung over her shoulder. "Doesn't matter now," Marcus replied grimly. He turned to Jonas Webb, who was coordinating the evacuation. "Get everyone to the underground bunkers. We'll draw them away." Jonas nodded, understanding the sacrifice Marcus was offering. "There's a maintenance tunnel to landing pad 3. Take the old mining hauler, it's fueled and ready." They ran through corridors, filled with frightened refugees, Lena keeping the children calm while Marcus watched for hunter troops. The sound of explosions grew louder as Vex's forces attacked the settlement's outer defenses. The tunnel emerged near, converted cargo hauler that had seen better decades. But her engines were solid, and she was large enough to carry them all. As they boarded, Marcus caught sight of hunter troops entering the settlement's main plaza. "There," shouted one of the armored figures. Pointing toward their ship, Marcus fired up the engines as laser bolts sparked against their hull. The hauler lifted off heavily, her cargo bay doors still closing as they climbed toward the safety of space. Below them, Haven's Rest burned with the fires of war in the cramped cockpit. Alina worked beside him with practiced efficiency, monitoring their systems while he piloted their escape. Their shoulders touched as they reached for controls. Each contact a reminder of what they'd found and might lose. 3 ships pursuing, Alina reported. They're gaining fast. Marcus pushed their stolen vessel beyond safe limits, feeling the deck plates vibrate with the strain. They had perhaps 10 minutes before the hunters closed the distance. Ahead lay the Nebula of Sorrows, a vast cloud of radioactive gas where sensors failed and navigation became guesswork. "Are you insane?" Alina asked when she realized his intention. "Probably," Marcus admitted, taking her hand as they approached the nebula's edge. "But it's our only chance." She squeezed his fingers, her touch conveying trust and love that made him feel invincible. "Then let's be insane together." They plunged into the swirling mists of the nebula, their ship immediately battered by electromagnetic storms. The hunter vessels followed, their superior sensors giving them an initial advantage in the chaos, in the haunting beauty of the nebula. With ionized gases creating aurora patterns around their ship, Marcus and Alina worked together with perfect synchronization. She monitored their hull integrity while he flew by instinct, weaving between energy pockets that could destroy them in seconds. "Contact on starboard," Alina warned. A hunter ship emerged from the mists, weapons charging. Marcus rolled their hauler desperately, feeling laser fire scorch their hull plating. In the passenger compartment, the children held each other as their world shook apart around them. Through the chaos, Marcus found Elena's eyes. Whatever happened next, they'd face it together. Final stand in New Beginning's heart of the Nebula of Sorrows was a graveyard of ships, hulks floating in the radioactive mists like monuments to failed dreams. Marcus guided their damaged hauler between the wrecks, using them as cover while the hunter ships searched for their prey. "Engines at 30%, Alina reported, her voice steady despite their dire situation. "Hull breaches on decks 2 and 4. We can't take much more of this." Captain Vex's voice cut through their communications. "Marcus Reed, you've led us on quite a chase. Surrender the Zephorian children, and I'll let you and the woman live. My sensors show your ship is failing. This is your last chance." Marcus looked back at Nora, Finn, Cole, and little Zara huddled in the passenger compartment. They trusted him with their lives, just as Alina had trusted him with her heart. The choice was simple. Go to hell, Vexy transmitted back. The first hunter ship emerged from behind a derelict cruiser, weapons blazing. Marcus rolled their hauler desperately, but their damaged engines couldn't respond fast enough. Laser fire tore through their port wing, sending sparks cascading across the cockpit. Then Alina was beside him, her hands joining his on the controls. Together, she whispered, with Elena's help. Marcus performed maneuvers their dying ship shouldn't have been capable of. They used the nebula's energy storms to their advantage, leading the hunters into pockets of lethal radiation that forced them to break off their attacks. The second hunter appeared from above, diving down with weapons charged. This time, Zara surprised everyone by triggering the hauler's mining charge as explosives, meant for asteroid work but deadly to pursuing ships. The hunter vessel disappeared in a ball of superheated plasma. 2 down. 1 to go, Nora said with grim satisfaction. Vex single quotes as ship was the largest and most heavily armed. But Marcus had noticed something during their chase. The hunter captain was aggressive to a fault, always taking the direct approach. Marcus began leading him toward the nebula's most dangerous region, where gravitational anomalies created a maze of deadly forces. "Marcus, what are you doing?" Alina asked as they approached a swirling vortex of energy that could tear apart any ship. "Trusting you," he replied. "Can you calculate the gravitational shears in this field?" Elena's eyes widened with understanding. Her fingers flew over the sensor controls, mapping the invisible forces that could destroy or save them. They're between the 2 largest vortices. It's narrow, maybe 50 meters, but there's a clear path. Marcus kissed her quickly, tasting determination and hope on her lips. "I love you, Alina Vasquez." "I love you too, Marcus Reed. Now fly us out of here." The Crimson Dawn dove toward the gravitational maze, with Vex's ship in close pursuit. The hunter, captain, blinded by greed and rage, followed them directly into the trap. At the last second, Marcus followed Elena's calculations, threading their ship between the deadly forces while Vex's larger. The vessel was caught by the gravitational shears and torn apart. Silence fell over their battered hauler. Through the viewports, they could see the nebula's strange beauty without the threat of death shadowing every moment. Elena's hand found Marcus's, their fingers intertwining as they had in the grove on Haven's Rest. 6 months later, they stood together on the observation deck of their new Homa space station. They'd purchased with a portion of the Zephyrian treasury, the rest of the money-funded refugee services throughout the galaxy, helping displaced families find safety and new beginnings. Nora and her siblings had their own quarters nearby. Thriving under Elena's care and Marcus's protection, they'd become more than rescued children. They were family, bound together by shared danger and deeper love. "Any regrets?" Alina asked, her wedding ring catching the light of distant stars. Marcus pulled her closer, feeling the gentle swell of her belly where their first child grew. Around them, the station hummed with life refugees finding hope, families reuniting, love conquering the darkness between stars. "Only that it took a pack of bounty hunters to bring us together," he replied, sealing his answer with a kiss that tasted like forever.